You aren't as important to the world as you think you are. And that is the best news you'll hear all day. I used to be terrified of being embarrassed. That moment when you're laying down in your bed at night and instead of sleeping, you're replaying everything embarrassing that has happened to you in the past 10 years. Your face gets hot flashes, you feel small, and you just want the ground to swallow you up. Girl, say less. Been there, done that. I spent years of my life trying to avoid that feeling at all costs. But that doesn't mean I don't get embarrassed from time to time. I just care less. Here's how Phoebe Buffay changed how I see embarrassment forever. What if I told you that embarrassment is subjective social construct? You walk in the city all dolled up, feeling good, minding your own business, until the concrete says, "No ma'am." And what do? You trip. Now, if you don't recover from that fall and start laughing at yourself immediately, that was your first mistake. Thinking that everyone saw it, everyone's watching, judging, everyone's laughing, basically telling yourself that your reputation is on the line, second mistake. Because who even decides what's embarrassing? Truly, no one but yourself. If you don't believe me, dig deep into your brain and find an embarrassing moment where you did trip. How did people around you react? Did they laugh? Did they kept on walking because they couldn't care less? Or did they run to you, asking if you're okay, even though you didn't even hit the pavement, you just tripped? People have different reactions to what you think is embarrassing, based on their own understanding of the situation and based on their personal experiences. First, you need to understand why this happens. And that is because the feeling of embarrassment isn't a result of what happened. It's a result of what you believe about yourself. Which leads me to the spotlight effect. Spotlight effect is a cognitive bias that makes us believe people are paying more attention to our appearance, mistakes, or actions than they actually are. And why does our brain do this? Simply to protect us, because we are afraid of rejection and judgment. But here's the reality. People aren't paying attention to us as much as we think. Just like Phoebe Buffay, who plays her guitar in public, even though she doesn't sound like one of the top musicians, yet she's unbothered. We have to realize that we aren't the main character in someone else's movie. And the truth is, if you want to be happy and unbothered, you need to live an authentic life. Now, what an authentic life really is another discussion, but that will mean that some people won't approve of what you're doing. Phoebe has her weird moments and she's aware that she has them, but she realized something profound. Confident, happy people don't judge, and they couldn't care less what other people think of them. When you're judging others, it's usually because you're trapped in your own self-consciousness and you're just holding up a mirror without even realizing it. This is why the spotlight effect happens in the first place. We get too self-focused. We assume that others are analyzing us in detail, when the harsh truth is the world couldn't care less about you or about what you're doing unless you're harming others. Phoebe taught me that the moment you stop obsessing over your dot in this massive universe, you actually get to live. So how do we break the cage? First, ground yourself. When I feel that spotlight, I go to the Word. If I know that I am made in the image of God, why am I terrified of a human's opinion? Rewrite the whole narrative and say to yourself, I choose to see myself how God sees me, not how my fear of embarrassment dictates. Think of it as consciously picking the version of you that is confident and grounded. Next is micro-exposure therapy. Do one small, silly thing and say what you really wanted to say without thinking that might be weird or embarrassing. Not only will you learn fast what kind of people get you, but you will also see that the world didn't collapse. That also builds confidence, and eventually you stop caring because you know your identity is secure. But there is a massive danger to this method. If you use it to just not care, you'll end up cynical. Phoebe doesn't use the not caring as a shield. She uses it to become a more loving and more authentic version of herself. The proper way to do this is to have a less of me mindset, but more of less of me and more of God mindset. When your ego isn't the star of the show, you will see how fast embarrassment loses its power. And finally, be kind to yourself and practice compassion. We all do silly things because we are silly humans. Be like Phoebe. She finds something positive in everything, even the embarrassing moments. She finds the humor, she keeps on walking, and she keeps singing Smelly Cat. You are not an actor. You're a human being that is designed to make mistakes, to learn and grow. I want to hear from you. What is your smelly cat? What's something you always wanted to do, but you're just too embarrassed to do it? Comment below and let's start being brave again together. As always, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.